Now, aside from whether it was the right decision for Gareth Southgate to make those changes, the fact is that the 11 who played are the 11 who played against Belgium on Thursday night. So let's take a look at them, because it's a rare opportunity to look at some players who otherwise might not have got a lot of game time. And I think it tells us, unfortunately, a little bit about the depth of the England squad, because there were a lot of them who didn't play well. We'll talk about individual players in a second, Dugan, but first of all, in general, is one of the negatives to doing what Southgate did on Thursday night, that it exposes to the rest of those in the tournament that actually you get beyond our first 11 and we are a considerably weaker team.
I think there's a difference between playing a completely different 11 or a completely different 8 out of the 11 and slotting those 8 into positions on the pitch surrounded by that starting team. I think you look at how Rashford played when he's brought on against Tunisia. You look at how individual players from that group of 8 have played when they've been brought on into a stronger team. They can still provide those things. They still have the security around them. I think when you play all 8 at the same time, yes, you have the drawback. Some of those players haven't played a competitive game of football in 5 weeks. Going in, they're always going to be cold. There's always going to be that step behind. Whereas if you slot them in, it means that they play better. I don't think you can draw too much from individual performances amongst the worst team.
And to be fair, that's one of the things Southgate said. One of the rationales for making those changes and playing a lot of those guys who hadn't been playing was that there were, in his words, some of them needed 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? Let's talk about Eric Dier. Eric Dier was England captain. It pains me to say this as a Tottenham fan talking to a Liverpool fan, but Dier looked a shadow of Jordan Henderson, didn't he?
He did, yeah. I mean, he's a big guy, and he hasn't got the movement. He hasn't got the I don't want to say pace, but I mean Jordan Henderson's not quick, but he still looked a lot quicker, and he still looked like Jordan Henderson's always there. He's on the edge of the box. He's in the right position. I mean, there was times where Dier wasn't, and his passing was not up to scratch, and Henderson's has actually been pretty good in this World Cup.
Well, what Henderson does is he covers more ground.
Yeah.
So Henderson can do that thing where we're playing just one central midfielder, which is what Southgate has opted to do in the last couple of months.
Which I agree with when we've got 3 centre backs.
Yeah, I agree with that. But Dier can't do it. Dier needs a second guy there. Dier would play a lot better if Henderson was with him.
Yes.
But of course, that's not how we're playing at the moment, and so you worry that if suddenly it makes Henderson seem like a lot more vital to the team than he previously was, because Henderson is now one of those players who, if he did get injured or suspended, I don't know how we would compensate for that. Right? What do you think? That's a worry, right?
It's definitely a worry, and if you can't have that midfield engine churning things out, I don't think you can drop Loftus-Cheek back to play alongside Dier. I don't think that'll work. You can't bring up someone from that back 3 to play there. You don't really have the resources for that. Maybe you bring in Delph, but even because Delph's had the experience playing back. But I'm hesitant about Delph being on the pitch at all, to be honest. I was astounded that he was so far forward in that game. I think I hate to say this, but we are in real trouble if Henderson gets injured or booked.
Yeah. One person who was good, but he's in a position, unfortunately, where he's certainly not going to play unless the person ahead of him does get moved out because of injury or something. It was Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah,
right.
excellent.
He's not going to play because Trippier has also been excellent. And Trippier is clearly ahead of him in the pecking order. But Alexander-Arnold, of all those guys who got an opportunity on Thursday night, looked pretty good.
Yeah, he was excellent, and I mean, his only weakness compared to Trippier was his set pieces. Trippier's set pieces have obviously been excellent this World Cup. Alexander not quite so good, but he had a great performance and showed maturity, and he didn't look out of place. He's a 19-year-old. He's had probably one real season at Liverpool, and he didn't look out of place in the team.
Loftus-Cheek I thought was good as well, but we won't talk about him. Let's talk about up front. Yep. So we had Vardy and Rashford started the game. Vardy, I thought, looked lively, but ultimately ineffective. Rashford obviously had that one-on-one chance. As a United fan, I'm a fan of Rashford, by the way. I love the fact that we've taken Rashford to the World Cup. But that wasn't his finest hour, was it?
No, it wasn't his finest hour. He'll be going over in his head time and time again about how he should have done that differently. He had a couple of chances where if you put more curve on the ball, would he be able to get it round, or went the other side, would be able to get it past the keeper. I'm slightly concerned by that kind of lack of finishing edge. But I think he's one of those players who needed the time. He needed a run out for 90 minutes. He's been stuck for United for the past 6 months of coming off the bench, making that impact sub, which you can do, but he needs to refine that. He needed the full 90 minutes to get back into the scope of play. I think he'll be fine coming off the bench. At this stage, having seen Rashford's performance, we're going to go back on myself and think probably Sterling starts the next game. But Rashford provides that second wave option that England need off the bench.
But it was a missed I think it was a missed opportunity for Rashford because
he didn't put his hand up.
Yeah.
He didn't put his hand up and say, like, Southgate, I'm going to make you have a selection problem now. That didn't happen.
Because that was the one position where you think he could have given Southgate a headache, because there is pressure on Southgate to drop Sterling for Rashford. And if Rashford had scored, or not even that, let's not dwell on that one chance too much, but as a general performance, if Rashford has shone there, then suddenly there's a lot of pressure to start him.
I mean, I'm in the Rashford camp. Before, in the first 2 England games, I wanted to see Rashford ahead of Sterling.
You just hate Sterling.
No, I don't just hate Sterling. But I just think he didn't do enough in this game, and I think Sterling's going to start. And he can't really complain, because he needed to do a little bit more to get in that first.
But that's been the story for Rashford all season. He's needed to do that a little bit more than he's been able to provide.
He hasn't played either, because Mourinho
he's proven certain points, like that goal against Liverpool. People thought, that's the point, like that will become through, but it's still not quite enough to get him in that starting team.
All right, we got to stop. So let us know what you think of those kind of. It's a bit disrespectful to call them fringe players, but you know what I mean. The guys who aren't in the first choice 11, who did get an opportunity on Thursday night against Belgium. What did we learn? Did we learn anything negative, positive about what England's options are if that first choice 11, any of them gets sidelined? What do you think? Let us know in the comments.